doing something incredibly difficult, okay? She's 10 and she's doing something incredibly difficult. So she's being asked to do this thing into a loose foam pit. She's more than capable. So physical-wise, she's fully prepared. There's nothing that's going to go wrong here. We've got everything set up to handle the load. Her body's not going to fall apart. She's not going to hurt herself. Everything's great, okay? She's prepared. But emotionally, she's not. She's not prepared. Now, this is intentional. We know she's emotionally not prepared because she fails to continue to believe in herself and her ability level and come into the gym understanding what her true potential is. And so because she fails to do that and she lacks belief in herself, when she's proposed with an idea, she shuts down. Okay? And we know this is going to happen. Myself and my coaches know this is going to happen, and so we're using these opportunities to mature her in her belief in her ability. Okay? We're not doing it to shut her down. So she's proposed this idea. You need to go do a double backflip into the foam pit off the floor. Okay. There's matting there to make the floor not even as impact, so don't worry about her feet and her bones. Okay? She's fine. We've got it all dialed in. But she shuts down. She doesn't want to do it. Okay? Her friend does it, and a bunch of other kids are pushing themselves, and she just stops, and she's like, doesn't want to do it. Now, the question that happens in that moment, and I know I'm taking a moment to really think about this because I haven't really thought this whole story through, so just bear with me. What's happening in that moment is my employee, coach, friend, is asking her to do the skill that she doesn't believe she can do, and I'm watching this interaction happen. My job and how I operate with the team program is I see these opportunities that someone's lack of belief sits in, and I go in and I help them work through it. And so I see her shutting down. I walk over to her and I say, you realize this entire situation is just a game. It's just a game. We're not doing this situation trying to reach a specific outcome as if the double backflip will be the thing you're trying to get. We're playing a game which is we present an idea to you. You decide whether you believe you can accomplish the idea, and then you respond however you respond, which is either you're going to shut down or you're going to step up. That's it. So you get to decide, do you want to step up or do you want to shut down in the game? We're not chasing an outcome like if I do the double backflip, my coaches will like me or I've accomplished something. No, the question is, how are you going to respond to the opportunity? Okay? So she cares about something that's shutting her down. We care about getting her to overcome shutting down. So that's what we're pursuing. So we're presenting her with this crazy idea that she hasn't thought about, even though she's been physically trained for it and she's more than prepared for it. But she just didn't come in that day thinking, I got to do double backflips off the floor into the foam pit. And so her care is set someplace else. And we're trying to shift her focus and view of what she should be caring about, which is believing in her abilities and her training and her preparation. So I ask her, I go, okay, so why are you shutting down? No, I don't know, all the stuff that a kid does. No, I'm not going to buy any of that. You need to give me a reason why. There's a reason, and I want to know so I can empathize essentially with you because it's real. You're obviously shutting down, so you care about something, and it's causing you to respond in this way. When she says, I don't want to fail, okay? I don't want to fail. Perfect. I know exactly what she cares about. She cares about not failing. Now, there's many different layers to failure, and we're not going to get into that in this video, but what I do with that word failure, I say, okay, so you're afraid of failing. What does that mean? Does that mean like you're going to get hurt? I'm afraid I'm going to fail because I'm going to get hurt? Does that mean I'm afraid I'm going to fail because I'm just not going to even do it at all? Like, what does failure look like to you? And for her, it was like, I'm not even going to do it at all. Which was weird because it's like you're shutting down, which is preventing you from doing it, but you're already afraid of failing, which is not even doing it. So it's kind of like this weird self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's just shutting her down. So I say, okay, well, this is what you need to understand. The exercise that is happening right here is not about the double backflip. It's about you taking the opportunity. So whether the double backflip happens or not, you running down, putting in the effort, even if you were to do a layout and nothing were to happen, would mean that you accepted the opportunity. Shifting her frame of reference, essentially, and saying, look, you're caring about the whole thing and worrying about failing, instead of caring about the opportunity presented and putting in the effort to step up to the opportunity, even if nothing happens. Okay? So that's a success here, and yes, you could measure failure over here, but let's pivot on what we want to focus on. And so I said, okay, why do you care about failure so much? Like, why does it bother you? And she, connects it to all her end goals. And basically, she doesn't want to end a day worrying about, like, I could have done it and I didn't, and it's sitting inside her head. And so I, again, am trying to change what she's caring about in this failure conversation, because failure in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to ask yourself, what opportunity are you chasing? What are you caring about? She's hung up on failure, but she could be hung up on opportunity, right? So here, she's now presented with this opportunity. I'm trying to get her to see that it's an opportunity, and all she needs to do is worry about, did she apply herself to her opportunity? Because I'm now connecting, look, you don't believe in your abilities because you're so worried about failure when you're fully prepared for it. Versus if you trusted your abilities and you took the opportunity and then just saw what happened, even if it worked or didn't work, it doesn't matter. But you believed in your abilities and you put yourself through the process, trusting your coaches or setting you up for success, then we would be measuring you by you stepping up. Now, you stepping up is a success. Pivot your care. Care about stepping up. Then, once you step up and you consistently step up, then we can work through the process of being successful on the skill. I said, what would be different? What's the difference in not trying? Okay, so today you're afraid of failing and you don't try to do the skill, and then you go home and you have to sleep on it. Or what would be the difference of you stepped up, you didn't go through this emotional little spiral, you just said, okay, you tried something, it didn't work, but you accepted the opportunity. Do you see how you would be more successful today accepting the opportunity even if it didn't work out? Because that's one step closer to getting to our goal. She's starting to catch on to understand the story. Change what she cares about. She can care about failure, but she should be caring about failing to accept the opportunity, not failing to not even try. Okay? So then, it's like, do you want to do it or don't you? Because you get to decide. The ball is in your court, and I'm not going to judge whether you say yes or no today because you've gone through this little emotional experience. It's an experiment too, but an emotional experience. So she gets to decide. She's like, yes, I want to do it. Okay, totally cool. We give her, everyone else is rotated by this time. We give her time to work on the event. She goes, she throws a double backflip into the foam pit. I was like, that was awesome. She's totally fine. Everything was good. It's like, okay, well, what do you want to do next? Do you want to walk away from it? Do you want to do it again? You get to decide, because you get to measure what your failure looks like. Where is your failure point? And clearly you were successful because you now accepted the opportunity. We worked through it. You got to the opportunity and you did something. And then it was like, and then do we want to continue on with this game? Now that we've changed how you should view the lens, or look through the lens. And so she's like, yeah, I want to do it again. Cool. Well, it's now really high and it's really good. And you could probably put a mat in and you could easily land on a mat in the foam pit. And she's like, I don't know yet. Let me try one more. Does another one. Hits it. She's perfectly fine. Everything's great. She goes, yeah, I think I'm ready for the mat. Okay, put the mat in. I'm spotting her. She's doing her double backflip. Lands on the mat on her feet. She's totally fine. Everything's great. We're progressing. And again, these steps might seem a little fast, but she's been totally prepared for this and trained for it. So I proposed her with another question. I say, look, we're just playing a game here. And I'm going to keep pushing this because I understand how much an athlete needs to move through this level of care and get this mental shift. So we're on a timeline. So we're going to continue playing this game. You understand what I'm saying? I don't tell her all the detailed words. I just say, we're going to play this game. And say, do you think you could do this without spot? And now she hopefully is connecting with the previous conversation. It's just a game. We don't need to be worried about if you can't. We just need to be worried about if you accept the opportunity. It's just a game. Accept the opportunity. And she goes, yeah, I could definitely do it without a spot. Cool. She wants to know a few things, like what happens if something goes wrong. Oh yeah, I'll save you and everything's going to be fine. And there she goes on her way doing it without spot. And so we went from a moment where she emotionally shut down because her care was about failing to do the skill, and we pivoted it towards her care being whether she accepted opportunity or not. And then we tested, does she actually believe in that, by essentially asking her to elevate difficulty to see if she would continue accepting opportunities as I increased difficulty. And she was like, yes, 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 yes. That's when you know somebody bought in. Now that's a lot going on there. You might have to rewatch this video to hear that whole entire story again. But that's how I know somebody bought in. We're going to play a game, and I'm going to see what you care about. And I'm going to see if how I helped shift your frame of reference, if it sticks. and I'm going to keep playing the game to see if it keeps sticking through the story. So enough of that. Outcome, okay? That's what we're pursuing, shifting people